This Wednesday, we're talking about pain relief as a human right, not a privilege. Hi, all. I'm Marlon with Chronic Pain Warriors United. Hope y'all are all doing well and having a great week and Wednesday so far. Let's jump right into it. In 1915, Congress passes the Harrison Narcotics Tax Act and gives them the right to invade our healthcare for the very first time. Prior to this, we had the perfect right and freedom to manage our healthcare and our pain, especially as we saw fit, just as we had done for thousands and thousands and thousands of years before this. And then they pass the Harrison Narcotics Tax Act, they invade our healthcare, and people die. This is a news article from 1915, 1916. His name was Jap Webb, and he's probably the first American documented to have lost his life because of government actions like these or government policies. And yes, I know, 110 years later in 2025, and people are still dying because of government policies like these. The circular insanity just goes on and on and on. And by the way, they called this thing a tax because they did not have the right to regulate medications or drugs at that point in time. So they got around it by calling it a tax, and voila. That's how they invaded our healthcare for the very first time. And they have been doing it ever since, to the massive harm of countless numbers of people. Now, the EU, they acknowledge pain relief as a human right in theory, but in practice, not so much. We have had many commenters from across the pond in the UK, France, Italy, even in Australia, talking about how difficult it is to access effective pain management in those countries. It's great to have a statement saying pain relief is a human right, but if you don't provide any access to that right, what good does it do? It's meaningless and it's pointless. And that's what's going on with a lot of people in the European Union, especially the UK, which I know Brexit. For a lot of y'all in the UK, I think it may even be worse for y'all than it is here in the US a lot of the times. And that's saying something for real. And then when it comes to the states, California is the only state that has a pain patient's bill of rights that protects the patient's right to ask for traditional pain medications when they have intractable pain. Now, the law is vague and it's not very effective because it leaves it up to the doctor to define what pain is, what intractable pain is, when intractable pain applies to you, and there are many other things they do with the kinds of power they're given over us. For instance, cutting our pain medications without our consent or taking them away altogether. Those actions have caused countless numbers of chronic pain patients to either take their own lives or to lose their lives self-medicating in a fentanyl-contaminated black market. We know this is happening every single day, and once again, the circular insanity just keeps going on and on. They started the war on drugs in 1915, 110 years ago. They escalated it to a whole nother thing in the 1970s with Nixon, the Controlled Substance Act, and the DEA. And they have achieved absolutely none of their stated goals. They are the most ridiculous, ineffective part of government imaginable. And again, that is saying a lot. Now, last, our founding fathers had pain. They had a lot of pain. Think about what all they went through. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, John Adams, our first three presidents, for example, and not in that order, all three lived with varying ailments and levels of chronic pain, and all three used traditional pain medications to manage that pain. It allowed them to live the lives that made them legends. And that is why I advocate for undertreated pain to be effectively and properly treated and managed. Because when chronic pain patients' pain is well managed, we can live very full, very extraordinary lives and achieve a great many things. But when our pain is not well managed, they are stealing the most valuable, precious commodities we have: our time and our ability to participate in our own life. And they have no right to steal either one, nor do they have the right to say, hey, these things that we have been using for thousands and thousands of years as humans for medicine, if you use those things now without our approval, it's a crime and we're going to put you in jail for it. No, they do not have the right to do that either. And when I say thousands and thousands of years, guys, I mean thousands and thousands of years. Here's an article with a map or two that's talking about traditional pain medication / Papaver somnivorum cultivation in Italy in the 5500s BC. Okay, that would be what, 7,500 years ago almost? And I guarantee cultivation goes back much further than that when you go towards the East, the Middle East, Asia, etc. That I have no doubt that if we were able to do more archaeological discoveries in that area, we would find evidence of Papaver somnivorum cultivation going back for literally as long as you will see human settlements or agriculture or farming. I believe that. Just like many other medications that they call Schedule 1 narcotics today. DMT or psilocybin mushrooms, for example. Anyways, I guess that's it. Y'all let me know what you thought in the comments. Let me know if you believe pain relief is a human right that cannot be abridged like I do, or if it should be regulated and controlled and the doctor nannies that control the medicine cabinet should be able to decide when our pain should be treated and how it should be treated, instead of us deciding when our pain should be treated and how it should be treated. We're the only ones that can really make that decision because we're the only ones that know how we feel and feel it. So, as I say at the end of every video, your comments, just like you, are special and important. So please leave them when you can. They are a huge boon in the fight for pain management reform. When people see these comments, they see what's happening to their fellow Americans and compatriots all over the country. Many of them are very angry because they have no idea this is happening. They also realize, oh, my extended family member or my close friend that was dealing with these issues, but stopped talking about them because I never cared or understood, is going through hell. There's been people that realize those things too. So please leave your comments when you can. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. I'm Marlon with Chronic Pain Warriors United. I hope y'all have a great rest of the week. Be blessed and be well. We'll see y'all real soon. Cheers.